I'll be honest, I was one of those kids who played Sonic 4 and didn't know any better. I actually remember enjoying that game all the way up until Lost Labyrinth Zone, also known as the third zone in the whole game. Yeah. But I sure loved playing Splash Hill over and over before the game got weird with its gimmicks. I actually did not mind playing Sonic 4 Episode 1 as a kid, but nowadays I really only care for Episode 2 if anything. Sonic 4 as a concept is still pretty neat. It's following in the footsteps of Sonic Advance by giving you modern Sonic controls with the design of a classic game. The homing attack was a nice addition to the 2D formula in my opinion, and I think there's something within these games that's worth preserving. It's also one of the few games out there that I think could be improved by a remake. Especially if you redid episodes 1 and 2 with better physics, visuals, and then tagged on episode 3. Early Generations modding was a fascinating time period where people were making things just to make them. It was pure, unbridled creativity just because we could do it. The tools were being made, it was new and it was fresh, and it makes a complete sense that people went so crazy back then, considering it was the first time we really had a Sonic game of this scale and quality ported to PC. It was a first of its kind. The only other ports that I think were on Steam were like Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. Splash Hill is often criticized for not being very original. It's basically just a Green Hill Zone in HD with some early 2000s color grading and bloom. Not to mention the #epic plastic textures everywhere in this game, just plastered all over the hills. There is one good part of this art direction though. These visuals were really easy to recreate in Sonic Generations. And by recreate, I mean just tweak the existing Green Hill assets. It's nice looking because these assets have the detail of AAA base game Generations, but the environment in this level mod lets this convincingly stand on its own. The shapes of the background terrain look very similar to the original Sonic 4, and both versions of Splash Hill share this vast open sea surrounding the main landmass. For reference, Generations Green Hill was lush and full of mountains. There's also fun details like the super square geometry being present everywhere on this level, including the waterfall. I love visiting ancient levels. Sure, the production value is a lot better nowadays, even in original Generations, but there's something so nostalgic and charming about coming back to amateur levels. And honestly, when I say amateur, I just mean that they don't have as much experience and tools that they do now. This is still a fun level, it's why I'm playing it. I also appreciate how Crash 5B, the creator, replicated the cylindrical grass-top platforms in the back, just like Sonic 4. The other islands in the distance are small, but have enough detail on them to almost feel like a place you could go. That's really impressive for just a small handful of people working on this project. There's also an abundance of flowers, sunflowers, and bushes placed all over the ground to fit the bushy aesthetic of Splash Hill, which again sets it apart from Green Hill. Call me crazy, but I swear to God there's extra bloom reflecting off the surface of the dirt just like the original Sonic 4. Generations Green Hill was not this shiny, and if that's actually a thing, this totally adds to the beloved and awesome art direction of Sonic Hedgehog 4 being brought back to life again. I'm not trying to glaze Green Hill or Splash Hill or anything. I know for a fact we're tired of seeing these locations, and we didn't really care much for Splash Hill ever. But I think this was a really clever way to adapt a new location into Generations without needing to do a crazy amount of original 3D modeling or texture editing. It was a smart use of existing assets to give us a new experience, and again, it tied into the overall theme of Generations revisiting old locations. And it's really cool to see a very weird game be reimagined in a space that can give you way more detail and context to the place that you're adventuring through. Oh, and one last cute detail for you. The banger song that plays during this level was made by the one and only T. Lopes of Sonic Mania fame. Yeah, he worked on Sonic 4 before Sonic 4. I believe I said this in a Shadow Generations video at one point, but I really adore that Generations mods also go the extra mile to give us beautiful custom hub worlds as well. This is also a different version of the Splash Hill theme specifically for the hub world, just like base gens would do. I've also been so impressed by how much detail seems to be packed into the resolution of this hub world too. Like, what the hell, dude? This is like custom geometry, custom assets placed around with good decoration, and like the detail on the grass is so crisp. I feel like this is the most beautiful this game has looked. And going out of your way to make a hub world for the already fully designed level is so cool because, yeah, that's a lot of effort, but also it just feels like it should be a part of the hub world of this game. I love that they even have enough space for you to go back to the Omo Chow shop. It's very clever and allows you to play Generations as it was intended. One of the most unexpected but cool parts about this mod too is the camera angles. Camera angles are something that notoriously gives a lot of people trouble in custom levels for Sonic games. I love that even though this is basically a hallway level, there is still a lot to do in 3 different directions at this very beginning. If you take the left route, you can break through the rocks and completely skip the longer path with the loop. Down here, you can bounce off of the crab meat and then stomp through that rock, and then there's an additional island where the tree is, where you can get another super ring. Why would you want a super ring? Well, more boost, bro. There's a lot of rail going on here. And the camera angles on some of the alt-rail paths are really cool too. I'll show those later. This level is neat because it constantly likes to shift between the 2D perspective and the 3D perspective, and of course Sonic 4 being a 2D game makes this fit a lot more. Also, seriously, look into the background there. The terrain on those rocks looks shiny like Sonic 4, especially paired with the waterfall and the water and everything. Like, I am not crazy. I am not crazy. Look at that, another gorgeous, very close-up camera angle, and there was like one of those little ledges that trips you when you hit them too that you have to short hop over. Like, even though you are just holding boost and going forward, this level has a lot of little things for you to react to, especially in the 2D sections, because they honestly don't give you enough view in front of you. One of the things that I really adore about this level as well is every time you take a pathway, you can see another different pathway in the distance that really inspires you to go back and try again because you're like, damn, what did I miss? And this ending area is really cool too. I adore all the different bushes they placed on the ground because that was a big part of the art direction for original Splash Hill. And like, look at that beautiful little water fountain on top of that cylindrical grass top. And here we are with the red ring route. There's a really cool thing you can do where if you hold right and slide, you can just bounce off of a piece of that bridge and then like bonk into one of the enemies. Completely unintentional, but it's like a little stim that I love doing every time I play this level now. Oh, I also love the quick hop at high speeds in this game. It feels so nice. The first red ring is over here on pieces of terrain that genuinely just look like window dressing, that just look like random decoration for this level, like little mini islands. And here you zoom in on the rail grinding as Sonic leans back and forth like he would back in the adventure games. It feels official the way the cameras interact with the in-game animations, and this is a completely different route that we did not see last time. Fully 3D and actually has some really interesting platforming movement. You do feel very slow if you don't know this level design in the 2D sections, but the moment that you know what to do, you're zooming, dude. Like, boom, boost into the rock, break the rock, bounce off the crab meat, boost jump over the spikes. Like, it does feel great, trust me. There are a lot of really sneaky red rings in this level. It actually really puzzled me, and there aren't any red ring guides for this level on YouTube. Even walkthrough videos of this level from 10 years ago did not go over all the red rings, so I did have to go snooping around for these, and I gotta say, some of the most difficult ones that I've ever tried in a Generations custom level. And that's another reason why these levels are awesome, because, yeah, it could be like a 2-minute long level, but there's still so much other stuff for you to find. Like right there, almost slid off the side of this mountain. Boom, red ring hidden inside an unassuming rock that just looks like any other background island. Very neat, very fun, and incentivizes the fact that this is a 3D platformer. There are so many different directions you could possibly go. Again, this is another island that we saw when we were boosting on the rail on the left there, but I am going to skip that rainbow ramp because the last bad boy is hidden behind this red ramp. That one made me shake my fist in the air and go, oh, you bastard. But you'll also notice that I did all of that and I still got an A rank. But just like that, it's very satisfying to play a fresh new custom level that has its own save file, and completing all the red rings because you get this beautiful red ring symbol on top of the custom stage gate. It feels like I literally just went out, purchased a DLC, and then 100%ed it in just like an hour. And I also want to say the S rank for this is not particularly easy. This took me like 3 or 4 really good tries before I actually got anywhere with it. This level is very neat, and it knows how to balance difficulty between finding collectibles, keeping up with the fastest routes, and of course, trying to actually get an S rank, which really isn't that hard in modern Sonic games. This is one of my favorite techniques too. Instead of going on the right rail, where it kind of like swerves in and out and wastes a few seconds of time, I just go through the middle and jump and land on it just then and there. It's really fun because it gives me a little bit more of skill expression in this custom level. Also, we get to go on this route here, once again, but I get to hit the top route with the orange rings, which I didn't last time. And there's something I actually love a lot about homing attack chaining the buzz bombers in the sky, because they remind me of the blue enemy from the original Splash Hill. I love how these additional platforms are spaced in these sections. You can tell the level designers were trying to do extra speedrun skips, and over here this is actually kind of tricky if you are not homing attack spamming the enemies, because I do want to drift between this area. You can fall off the sides here. And then from this point on, it was pretty much smooth sailing, honestly. This part's a little bit deceitful, though, because if you do use these 2 ramps, you will waste enough time to cost yourself an S rank, so I just drop down and boost. And bada bing, bada boom, I think that's an earned S rank. On paper, this project seems very simple, but there was a lot of work that went into it. I think like 2 years worth of work. There was all kinds of testing with different animations and lighting and rendering and all that crazy stuff just to make Splash Hill look like Splash Hill. And again, I also think it's the simplicity of this level that makes it feel nostalgic and comfortable for me, because it was a much simpler time back then when it came to the kind of custom content we want for these games. We just wanted something more to play. We didn't care if it was Sonic 4. I think this is neat for accurately replicating a niche and hated zone in a game with infinitely more detail available in it. Like, it's just neat to see a weird game that no one really likes get some more attention again. I'm always down for that kind of thing. Even more impressive is that this was completed nearly a decade ago. There are several devlog videos that you can still watch to this day that track the progress over time. I do wish they kept in the giant chopper route. It was so cool to see him utilized more than twice in this game, especially having him jump in and out of the water like a regular classic chopper. There was even a special particle effect after the water mystified in the air. It's a really nice detail. In general, it also feels like a lot of pathways were modified heavily over time, which is kind of a shame because some of them look really cool. But I trust the overall level is better the way that it came out in the end, though. There's a lot of tough decisions you gotta make in level design and mod development. I like to cover platforming content, both fan-made and official, and if you like what you saw here today, consider checking out my Sonic modding playlist, as I have many other videos just like this.